Hi everyone, welcome back to another video here on Play on GAA with me, Seamus Brady, and in this video we're going to run through all of the hurling action from the All-Ireland Hurling Championship of 2023. We had amazing action from the Munster Championship and the Leinster Championship, an incredible weekend of hurling action all round. But obviously there is only one place to start. What an epic game this was between Tipperary and Limerick at Semple Stadium in Thurles. It finished 25 points each, and a serious rivalry is building between these two teams. Just look at the scenes at the end of the game. First off, John McGrath, fantastic character from him. Given that he missed the free that could have won the game against Cork, for him to step up and take the free to save a point for Tipperary against Limerick. Fantastic bottle, fantastic character. It was a very controversial ending. In my opinion, Barry Nash got a deserved second yellow card for hitting Dan McCormack in the back of the head when he was on the ground. He made out like he didn't deserve it. He absolutely did. Look, the reality is that's just silly. Like, why would you give the referee a chance to give you a second yellow card? I get you're in the momentum. I get you get caught up in the moment. I get that happens all the time. But still, players get away with it, and he can't really have that much complaints for getting a second yellow card for that. The only one that I do understand is Liam Cahill actually losing his rag when it was wrongly flagged, the line ball right at the end, because that went out of Richie English. That hit Richie English's leg and went out over the sideline. And given the fact that it was a 1 point game, Limerick were leading, that sideline could have led to Tipperary's equaliser. Liam Cahill, in my opinion, I understand why he lost his rag there. He ended up getting sent off as well, which just added to the whole drama of the occasion. But now after this, and thanks to Clare's victory over Cork, it is now a straight knockout match between Cork and Limerick in the Gaelic grounds next week. Just talk about the drama, talk about going down to the wire. Tipperary were better in the first half, but Cathal O'Neill really carried the fight to Tipperary. 3 points in the first half from play from him, whereas on the Tipperary side, Gerard O'Connor, Jake Morris, Patrick Bonner, Mark Keogh, they were all fantastic, especially given that they were without the likes of Jason Ford. Aaron Gillan hit an important point before half-time just to keep Limerick in touch. Tipperary led 15-12 at the break. Limerick burst out of the traps in the second half, and it really gave me vibes of the 2021 Munster final when Limerick just came out and blew Tipperary away in the second half. They shot ahead with 4 quick points in a row to lead by 16 points to 15. But Tipperary handled this superbly. They showed a higher level of fitness and a higher level of composure than they did in 2021. And they went back in front. Connor Bowe was sprung off the bench. He hit 3 fantastic points as Tipperary held the lead for another 15 minutes. They were defending brilliantly as well. Cathal Barrett, a pure example of putting his body on the line, got a huge hit off Tom Morrissey. And the game was back and forth until the amazing drama at the end. Shamie Callanan came in off the bench, and the drum and inch man looked to have won the game for Tipperary. But then Graham Mulcahy equalised, and Tom Morrissey gave Limerick the lead, and it looked like they might actually get the victory. But then John McGrath got that free and nailed it to make it a draw. And the scuffle at the end, look, it wasn't unsavory. It was just pure rivalry, pure competitiveness. And I cannot wait to see those two lock horns again. Congratulations to both teams. What an outstanding game of hurling. Clare have pulled off a huge victory over Cork at Cusack Park in Ennis. 222 to the Banner County, 318 to the Rebels. A massive victory for Clare, which now puts Cork in a do-or-die scenario against Limerick next week in the Gaelic grounds. Cork now have to go to the Gaelic grounds, the home of the All-Ireland champions, and beat them and knock them out of the All-Ireland Hurling Championship, which makes that a must-watch game. And you better believe we'll be doing a preview for that. But we're going to look at the Clare versus Cork game here. A thrilling end in Cusack Park in Ennis that saw Diarmuid Ryan nail a late point to snatch the win for Clare against Cork. It was a full house in Cusack Park that made it an amazing atmosphere, something which was amplified right from the start with Tony Kelly and Ryan Taylor opening Clare's scoring. Cork were on top in the first quarter, and they led by 4 points as that quarter drew to a close. Conor Cahalane hit the back of the net in the 8th minute to give a real turbo boost to the Rebels. However, at the end of the first quarter, Clare responded by hitting 4 straight points, which saw them reclaim the lead by the 23rd minute. In the 28th minute, Tony Kelly hit a fantastic goal, batting home to really give Clare a huge boost. Kelly, Shane Amori and Dermot Ryan hit scores before half-time to make it Clare 1-13, Cork 1-8. In the first attack of the second half, Shane O'Donnell burst through and he was fouled for a penalty, which Tony Kelly stepped up and tucked away. Now Clare led by 8 points and Cork's task looked seriously difficult. But the Rebels fight and they got a penalty after Shane Kingston was fouled. Up stepped Patrick Horgan. His original shot was saved by Ava Quilligan, but the rebound was smashed in by Declan Dalton. Cork were now 4 points down on the 45th minute. Cork fought back all the way, and when Horgan hit the back of the net himself to level the game. David McInerney and Shane O'Donnell got 2 quick points in response, but Horgan drew Cork level again until Dermot Ryan landed that awesome winner for the Banner County, and now they are going into the Munster final for the 2nd year in a row, and they will be hoping to go one step further than they did last year. And remarkably, Tony Kelly still doesn't have a Munster medal. Shane O'Donnell doesn't have one. Peter Duggan doesn't have one. John Conlon doesn't have one. Clare haven't won the Munster Championship for such a long time, and that is something that they want to put right this year without a shadow of a doubt. For Cork, they have it all to do. As I said, now they have to go to the home of the champions and beat them and knock them out of the All-Ireland Championship. What a game that is going to be. You better believe we'll be doing a preview for that. But congratulations to both teams on an insanely good game of hurling. Now, this is the biggest shock of the championship so far. Westmeath 4-18, Wexford 2-22 in Wexford Park. And I haven't even got to the bit that's the most shocking yet. Wexford led by 16 points at halftime and they still lost the game. Just get that. How did Wexford not learn their lesson? The reality is that people will say that this came out of the blue. It didn't. Westmeath drew with Wexford last year. Wexford had been warned about how good Westmeath were and how Westmeath could catch them on the hop, yet they still got caught. It's a disastrous result for Dara Egan. And honestly, if I was a Wexford fan, even as someone who likes Wexford as a team, Egan has to go now. Even if they manage to stay up, which at this point honestly looks unlikely, because I do tip Antrim to beat Westmeath and I don't tip Wexford to beat Kilkenny. And if those two results go like that, Wexford are relegated from the All-Ireland Championship. Wexford are, can you believe that? How has that happened? So for me, even if they avoid it, Egan has to go because they are dramatically on the slide here. Dramatically. How are they not getting the best out of a team with the likes of Rory O'Connor, Lee Chin, Conor MacDonald, Dermot O'Keefe? There's so much talent in this side, yet they're not getting the best out of them at all. Wexford were so good in the first half. Conor MacDonald hit both of their goals. They led by 2-15 to 5 points at half-time. And Westmeath came out and scored 4-13 in the second half to Wexford's 7 points. How does that happen? How have they just completely fallen off like that in the second half? Westmeath just took over on the restart. They hit their first goal in the 38th minute. Niall O'Brien grabbed that first goal. Kieran Doyle and Peter Clark both added points. Now the gap was back to 9. Then Niall O'Brien hit the back of the net again after an hour. Then Niall Mitchell hit the third goal heading into injury time. And 2 minutes later, Mitchell hit his second goal and Westmeath's fourth to take the lead. And not only when they took the lead, they then tagged on 2 more points to seal one of the most famous wins in the history of Westmeath hurling and one of the most embarrassing dark days in Wexford hurling. How did Wexford not learn from last year? As I said, how did they not see that when Westmeath drew at them last year and could have beaten them, that they have to make sure that they're on the money today? And even when they go in at half-time, it's a game of hurling. Anything can happen. You're never safe until the final whistle goes. And Wexford should have known that from what happened last year. So they're in a precarious position now. And honestly, regardless of whether they stay up, in my opinion, as harsh as it is, they need a regime change because they're going on the slide rapidly quick. But a huge congratulations to Fortune's men in Westmeath. Fantastic result. And they have given themselves a serious chance of staying in the All-Ireland Hurling Championship for another year. And that's the best Westmeath hurling victory that I've seen in my lifetime. What a result. Congratulations to the Westmeath men on an amazing victory. But for Wexford, they need to change that really, really quickly. And a huge victory again for Kilkenny over Dublin, which pretty much puts them into the Leinster final. They beat the Dubs by 27 points to 21 points at Nolan Park in Kilkenny. A fantastic victory by the Cats, and they really held off the Dubs well. Look, Dublin came with a good game plan. They really put the Cats on the back foot. Big pressure out of Dublin. But the reality is once again, Dublin were having to work so hard to keep up with Kilkenny. They were putting a swarm of forwards around the Kilkenny backs every time the Kilkenny backs had the ball. Conor Donoghue, Donald Burke, Danny Sutcliffe, fantastic performances from them. Dublin hit 3 points in a row. Conor Donoghue made it 6 points to 4. This is when the game was really back and forth. Keane Boland made it 7-4. Mark Rogan got a point to make it 8-5, but that was Dublin's last point for a while. Kilkenny took over from here, and TJ Reid got a free in their burst of scores in which he made history. He was then the highest championship scorer of all time with 30 goals and 509 points after that free. And no doubt one of the best hurlers of all time. Kilkenny took charge in the run up to halftime. Billy Ryan's point made it 11-8. And really, you have to give them huge credit to the extent that they noticed what needed to change. When Dublin started pushing up on the forwards, in the forward line, Kilkenny just constantly switched the play so that they always had an overlap. So when Dublin pushed up on them, Kilkenny switched the play. It was very clever. And they started going direct to take the sweeper out of the game, which Dublin had deployed really, really well at the start of the game. The game was still relatively back and forth, but then Mossy Cohen extended the gap to 4, 16-12 early in the second half. And this is where Kilkenny started to pull away. Richie Reid made it 20 points to 16. Owen Cody got a point to make it 22-16. And Kilkenny just kept on kicking. Awesome Adrian Mullen point made it 26 points to 19. Paddy Deegan then hit the last point of the game to make it 27 points to 21. And honestly, look, that's a pretty it's a pretty positive performance from Dublin. I wasn't expecting us to win, but I'm happy that we went there and put up a fight, because last year we did get fairly handedly beaten by Kilkenny, and in the league we got beaten really comfortably, and there was no sign that we were really making progress. But I'm happy with how that result went. We fought, we never gave up. And look, it was always going to be tough going to Nolan Park and trying to beat Kilkenny, because they are one of the two best teams in the Leinster Championship right now, along with Galway. It will be the two of them, in my opinion, in the Leinster final. And I'll be very, very excited to see how that gets on. But yeah, decent performance by Dublin, and we should be getting out of the Leinster Championship in third place. And I'll be interested to see how we get on against whoever comes out of Munster or the John McDonough. So, congratulations to Kilkenny. Big victory, and for Dublin, onwards and upwards. Another hugely impressive victory by Galway. Look at this, 5-29 to Galway, 1-22 to Antrim in Pearse Stadium. And look, this is a hugely impressive victory because you look at how other teams have struggled with Antrim, but Galway, absolutely none of the sort going on here. A very impressive scoreline again from the tribesmen, who are blossoming under Henry Shefflin. Conor Whelan, Kevin Cooney, Tom Monaghan and Liam Collins all hit the back of the net for the tribesmen, and now they look like they are well on their way to a Leinster final appearance against Kilkenny, and will be looking for revenge after defeat to Kilkenny in the Leinster hurling final last year. Now for Antrim, they go to play against Westmeath, and if they beat Westmeath and Wexford fail to beat Kilkenny, remarkably, Wexford are the team going down from the All-Ireland Championship, which is absolutely insane. But yeah, let me know what you think about this game between Galway and Antrim and the whole Leinster Championship in the comments below. And yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next one. That is the whole Play on GAA recap of the hurling action from the weekend, guys. Thank you so much for giving me your time today. And until the next one, take care.